Hmm. Decisions. This is a vegetable. This is a vegetable. This is also a vegetable. So they're all vegetables. What's the difference? If you're a returning player, a new player, or a player that's been playing right along for World of Warcraft, the game is a little confusing at this moment. They are hosting more than one game at this time in year 2021. So what I want to do in today's video is break down, without going into deep details of each one of these, just going over the bare basics so that I don't make a 4-hour long video and just get a bunch of these. I just want to clear this up so that you guys can make up your mind and know the difference between each version of the game that we could expect to see. Let's dive in and give it a look. Before we get started, I just need you guys to like this video, sub up for more awesome videos coming your way, and then don't forget to ring that bell notification down below. It helps support the channel. So at this time in year 2021, Blizzard is actually hosting 5 different versions of the game. Actually 4. Now all these versions are not released at the time of this video, but they did make confirmation saying that 4 of these are definitely going to be possible, with 3 of the versions already being playable at this time. So we're actually going to go in order. So the first game is going to be Classic WoW, which is the vanilla version, Classic WoW Fresh, Classic WoW Plus, Classic WoW The Burning Crusade, and then the retail game Shadowlands. But I'm going to jump right ahead and just say that Classic WoW Plus looks like it's not going to happen. From the research I've done, there is no word of them actually releasing Classic WoW Plus. So the first one we're going to be looking at is the Classic WoW Vanilla. Classic WoW Vanilla was actually released on August 26, 2019. So it's been out now for a good couple of years. And this is what mimics the 2004 game, the first initial release for World of Warcraft, called Vanilla. Unfortunately, just to check out the health and the population of Classic WoW at this moment, I did log on to my server, and there was one person in whose, which was at 3:00 p.m. on East Coast. So I did whisper him. He said overall the game is pretty much dead, with hardly no items at all posted in the auction house. So what does Classic WoW Vanilla include? Well, they have 40-man raids, they have 5-man dungeons, and they have 3 battlegrounds in the game right now when it comes to PvP, and of course World PvP, depending on the server that you're playing on. And the level cap of this game is level 60. Which is going to bring us to our next topic about Classic WoW Fresh, which is going to kind of tie all this together. I just want to add one more thing before moving on to the next topic, is that he did tell me, the player that was in Classic WoW, that they are doing 20-man raids on certain nights throughout the week. So I guess if they change the game with a later on patch where now you could do raids with a smaller amount than 40-man. I haven't played Classic WoW in some time now, so I wasn't sure about this. And also, just to double check, the population seemed a bit too low to me. So I googled it and I found this chart right here. So some servers do have 10,000 plus players. And again, this is not the full list of all the servers. I actually seen another server down below in the list that had like 13,000 players. And this is for September 2021. So I wanted to update this with this chart. Up next is Classic Fresh. And Classic Fresh was confirmed now by Blizzard that they are definitely planning on doing this. It's posted on Wowhead and also World of Warcraft themselves, plus all over YouTube and you name it. So what is Classic Fresh? Classic Fresh is actually going to mimic what we played in the vanilla Classic WoW. But say if we were playing Classic WoW, the original right now, and you felt like making a level 1 character all over again, you would feel very alone out in those zones, because most other players are already on their level 60s. But if you do play Classic Fresh on the release date, which is not known yet by Blizzard, the idea of this game is everybody's going to start off at level 1 again. So it's going to make those zones feel populated, rich, and vibrant again. The main purpose of this also is that even popular streamers are supporting this idea, that Blizzard does feel that now, because we've already played the original game, that they may want to add more modern implements now to the fresh version. And some of those being faster XP rates when you're leveling. Also, barbershops, no world buffs in raids, increased debuff limit on raid bosses, black market auction house, the original AV, Ultric Valley design, more gods, slower matches, additional quests. More difficult raid bosses and dungeon encounters. A lot of players felt that Classic WoW, and I agree, was a bit too simplified. When it came to boss fights, they only had like 1 or 2 mechanics. They're also thinking of increased rate of item drops, which I'm a fan of, earn gold at a faster rate, and summoning stones at dungeon entrances. Now this is a survey that they're putting out, or that they already put out. Now, I can't find the information of exactly what point of the game they're at with this, if it's in PTR yet, and we definitely don't have a release date right now. And so there we have it, folks. That's about all the information we have right now for Classic Fresh. And again, there is no release date given at this moment. So now next up is the classic The Burning Crusade, which was released on June 1st, 2021, with the original release date being January 16th, 2007, for the actual retail game. The Burning Crusade was one of the best expansions that I ever played. This is where they changed the raids in the game, so they lowered it from 40 mans down to 10 man or 25 man, which was a lot easier to organize and pull people together in a guild situation. They also added more implements to the game to make it a little more modernized, that being summoning stones at the entrance of dungeons and raids, and then also guild banks, and lowering the level and the gold requirements for your mounts in the game. And they also introduced flying mounts in the Burning Crusade, but they're only usable in the outland areas. The level cap for the Burning Crusade is now level 70. The PvP in the Burning Crusade player versus player is really the biggest change that they made coming from Classic WoW Vanilla. And that being, this is where they actually added arenas to the game, and an extra battleground called the Eye of the Storm, which now gave us 4 battlegrounds for the Burning Crusade. And another great thing that they added when it came to PvP for the Burning Crusade was PvP Resilient Stat Gear, which now separated PvE players and PvP players in a PvP or PvE situation. The game is still young, so joining the game now, it's never too late. They actually only released Phase 2 only about a week or so ago from the date of today's video, which also added Season 2 for the PvP. The population for this game right now is still very healthy. As a matter of fact, out questing, you're always going to see plenty of players. So going by this image right here, this is for September 2021. We could see there is no starvation when it comes to finding players for your raids and other needs. And so in short, folks, there we have it for World of Warcraft's The Burning Crusade Classic. Up next is the retail game that's going on right now for World of Warcraft called Shadowlands. Right now, during the time of this video, Shadowlands is during its 9.1 patch with 9.15 in PTR and soon to be released for the actual game. There is so much involved in Shadowlands, I would have to make just a video alone to cover all the details when it comes to this game, but I'm just going to let you guys know the bare basics. Shadowlands was released on November 23rd, 2020. And they actually did a twist when it came to this game. So what Blizzard did was, instead of going up in level in this game, they actually went backwards. So in Battle for Azeroth, which was the expansion before this one, that was level 120. But now they reverted it back to level 60 cap for Shadowlands. So basically it's the same level as Classic WoW Vanilla. At the start of Shadowlands on your first character, you're going to be automatically ported or shipped off to an island. This island is called Exile's Reach, which is some sort of a tutor when it comes to the game for brand new players. It gives you the bare basics when it comes to starting off playing World of Warcraft Shadowlands. Once you do a series of quests, you're eventually going to end up in a dungeon, which is going to give you instructions of how to actually do dungeon play in the game. I found this to be a very unique experience. After leaving Exile's Reach, you're eventually going to reach the new capital for Shadowlands called Erebus, which is going to take you through a small series of quests, which is eventually going to lead you to where you have to pick a covenant. There are 4 covenants within the game, which will give you special abilities, rewards in the game, campaigns, renown points. So basically it's going to be your main hub and your progression path when it comes to Shadowlands. And there is 4 zones in Shadowlands. There is Bastion, which is the home for the Carrion Covenant. There is Maldraxxus for the Necrolords. There is Ardenweald for the Night Fae. And Revendreth, which is the home for Ventria. When you start questing in Shadowlands though, you are going to be going through each one of these zones and in order. This is done on your first character. They did make additions to the game when it comes to alternate tunes in the game. Some say that Shadowlands has more of a solo experience, so the community's not as strong as we've seen in past expansions. Except for guilds and friends that do group type events, but they did make the game more soloable now, where you can actually get up to a decent item level with just solo questing and events that you do within the game. Although for raids, mythic dungeons, and all the above when it comes to that, of course you would always need a group to pull those off. The server doesn't really matter which one you play on because they're all normalized now. There is no PvP in the game when it comes to servers because they added an element called War Mode. And with War Mode, what this does is that once you activate it, you're in PvP mode. So if you're out questing and doing things like that, you can get attacked by the opposite faction. But if you want to play in peace, you could just shut it off. And there you are. It's pretty much like playing on a PvE server back in the day. There are so many systems embedded in this game right now, it's a bit overwhelming. So if you really want to get the best out of Shadowlands, I recommend doing as much research as you possibly can. It gives you the feeling of a non-stop grind, where let's take the Burning Crusade for instance. In a game like that, if you were just a PvPer, you just had to get the cap level, start doing your arenas, your battlegrounds, and you weren't really forced in doing quests until the end or the duration of that game. Where in Shadowlands, to go up in renown points, which is needed for your covenant, and to actually progress in the game, it feels like a non-stop grind when it comes to questing, dailies, and all the above. The PvP in the game also took a bit of an angle too, and what I mean by this, the best way I could put it is that it's more of an elitist thing now. So if you're just somebody who's into PvP and you want to gear up through PvP alone, You really need to get the ratings now in Shadowlands to go up in item level. And over the years, players got so much better at PvP, and between class balance in the game, you could get two-shotted by a powerful mage or a demon hunter. So in my opinion, trying to get a 1500 now in Shadowlands was like trying to get an 1800 in Wrath of the Lich King. And then they added a huge tower to the game called Torghast, which most players call Borghast, which can be done with a group of players or solo, which is needed to make your legendary gear in the game. Because a player without the legendary gear is going to have a bit of a disadvantage. So again, you could add this to your chore list to do each week. Let me give you an example to tie this all together. I was in just a PvP casual guild between Mop and Warlords of Draenor, and even in Warlords of Draenor, I never even got flying. Because once I got cap level, all I did was PvP, and our guild was one of the highest geared guilds on the server because we were the only guild doing PvP. So I didn't need to do boring weeklies, dailies, and all this stuff on a daily base once I reached cap level in WoD. The PvP in the game was all queued. All you had to do was just queue up for those events. You didn't have to fly anywhere. Now, I'm not totally knocking on Shadowlands. Shadowlands is a good expansion, especially if you like playing a game like this solo. But I still like the more stripped down versions that we see today in the classic games. But again, that's my opinion. I'd like to hear your opinion in the comments below. So anyways, folks, that's about it for today's video. I hope that this helped you decide on which game to play for 2021 going into 2022. And we are speculating that hopefully for the classic version of the games, they're going to come out with Wrath of the Lich King. But again, there is no word about this from Blizzard themselves, so we're just going to have to wait and see. So again, thanks so much for stopping by and checking out Wise Gamer. Throw those comments down below, and we'll catch you the next time. Take care. Bye-bye.